Hey guys, welcome to the new Coffee and Conversions. Really, we're going to try something that we believe is going to add a lot of value, and it's interesting, and it's a conversational approach to marketing execution. There's so much marketing content out there and so many tutorial videos, and we find that they are sometimes when you really have to get into the deep execution, it's challenging. So Miles and I want to do some advanced execution together. We can talk about it, discuss why, and hopefully provide a better medium for doing what we all love to do, which is advanced digital marketing. So I'm excited about it. How do you feel about it, Miles?
I feel great. I'm at home with our headphones on and a screen share going.
Yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah. So Miles, I wanted to choose today's topic because I think there's a really simple um, thing that everyone should be doing in Google Analytics that's underutilized, um, and that is channel groupings. Um, Google Analytics, as we all know, can be really cumbersome. It's just a feature-rich platform. And as marketing matures and we continue to explore new channels, I am finding that reporting and channel grouping is becoming more of a challenge. So, how about we talk about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So, if you guys can see my screen, I want to start off by discussing what channel groupings are. So, I assume we do this very often. Your boss or your coworker asks you something about how specific channels are doing. You go to your traffic, you go to your channels, and you see all your channel sources. And of course, you can click in and explore that channel source individually so you can find if there's any specific outliers. An issue that I continually run into, let's go ahead and go back, is that we are extremely diligent with our custom UTMs here at OM, and really we all should be as digital marketers. But Google does not really help us out here when it comes to allocation of those UTMs. So what you'll see pretty often is you'll get other. When you go to other, you'll start to see a lot of your paid channels, whether it's Google Ads, Bing, Facebook. We have Lawyerist here. Furthermore, let's go ahead and go back. As I mentioned before, we explore new channels such as radio and podcast. We want to make sure that we can properly track those channels. You can see here we have some podcasts, we have XM radio, and these are really, really important channels to us with this specific partner. So Miles, are you catching on so far?
Yeah, so far. I did have one question before we jump into channel groupings too deep here. You'd mentioned that custom UTMs is something that we love using at OM. Why do we prefer to use a custom UTM versus what Google Ads allows us to do with their tracking parameters and such?
Yeah, I think that's really, really great question. There's nothing wrong with Google's parameters or Facebook's parameters for that matter, but you're gonna have your UTM structure, and since every platform does not have custom tracking, by doing custom, it just allows us to keep a almost like a UTM structure across the board for everything that we do, whether it's a podcast or Google search or social. Like, we don't want to be coming up with new structures for everything that we do. And this just allows us to keep good URL hygiene as our marketing expands. And that question is specifically important because when it comes to grouping, that's going to go a long way. So let's talk about how that happens. In GA, you can go to admin, you can go to channel settings, and there's a setting here called channel groupings. You can set up your grouping, pretty simple setting. And really what's going on here is you're gonna see all the system defined groupings or user defined if you make your own. The nice thing is you can jump in some of the system defined ones and add parameters to them, or you can make fully custom ones. So you can see here, we created one called paid social. Paid social is probably the most common one that we all run into. A lot of us are doing Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads, and they're getting grouped as other. So all we had to do is create a channel called paid social. We made the medium, matching the rejects, paid social, which is a UTM parameter that we use for any social campaign. And now that created a channel grouping for paid social. And our goal is really to squeeze away from other, so we just have cleaner data.
So can you add more than one medium per channel grouping? So this
Absolutely.
one, we just have paid social? Okay.
Yeah, so you can see here, there's additional settings for and or remove. And you can get as advanced as you want. And this is, like I mentioned before, as our marketing matures, this becomes extremely important. You might have hundreds of UTMs for paid social for all we know, right? If you want to be extremely diligent, you might have a specific, you might be tracking by ad content, right? If you really want to get extremely granular in your data.
Just as you talked about earlier, good custom UTM hygiene. If we don't have that good custom UTM hygiene, we can still group all these different paid social custom UTMs that we created earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a risky game, but it's absolutely something that's doable. Nice. And something that we like to practice is having a spreadsheet where you track all your UTMs per channel. And that's probably an easy way to go ahead and pass all that over in here. And the one that I specifically appreciate here with this partner is radio and podcasts. So often we tend to ignore offline channels for digital information. And the reality is, you know, when we listen to Joe Rogan or any of these big podcasts, he's always giving us a custom URL, right? He's saying X company / Rogan. Typically, that's a URL that's hiding a UTM. And that UTM is going to give us the ability to grab all that data and track it really effectively inside Google Analytics.
Nice.
Ultimately,
go ahead, Dan.
No, I was going to say, ultimately, the result is you're going to have cleaner channel data. And again, you know, traffic channels is a relatively basic report in Google Analytics, but it's one that allows for really healthy executive reporting. Very rarely are you going to get a question around, hey, how's this UTM of this specific campaign doing? More likely you'll get holistic data request around paid search or paid social or XM radio. And this is really the goal here.
Perfect. That answers my last question. I was going to ask why we wouldn't just use ad campaigns. So awesome.
So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Channel groupings in GA. It's one of the simplest ones that you can have the most success in. Hope this was beneficial to do it in real time with me and Miles, and can't wait for the next one.
Awesome. Thanks again, Dan. We'll see you guys.
Bye.